Okay, this is actually number 11. Let me change that real quickly. Alright, so number 11 from suggested homework 7.7. Solve this with the quadratic formula. First thing I needed to do is put it in what we call standard form. And standard form is where I have a x squared plus bx plus c equals 0, like they said right here. Alright, so we go ahead and to do that, we're going to move the 7x to the other side. And to move 7x, then since that's a positive right there, we're going to go ahead and subtract 7x. Whatever we do to one side, we must do to the other side of the equal sign. At that point, when I rewrite it to get ready to work, I get 2x squared. Because the 7x does not have any common terms over here, there's no like terms, I just go ahead and slide it in its slot. Because we want to go in descending order there. So we have a degree of 2, we have a degree of 1, and then we have our constant. And that equals 0. At this point, after step 1, step 2 is we go ahead and identify our coefficients. Our A coefficient, our B coefficient, and our C coefficient. So our A coefficient is going to be the number that's out in front of x squared. So in our case, the number out in front of x squared is positive 2. The number out in front of x is negative 7, and the number that stands alone is negative 1. So as I go and fill those in, I see I have 2 for my A, I have negative 7 for my B, and I have negative 1 for my C. It's very important that you remember to keep track of the sign that's in front of the coefficient, because if you notice here, this is all written in addition. So you have to consider your equation written in addition, and I don't want to confuse, but if I rewrote this in terms of addition, this would be plus a negative 7x plus a negative 1, and that might help you realize that in that case there, I actually have negative signs. So that's why I've written negative value. Okay, step number 3. Plug into, I'm just going to abbreviate, the quadratic formula. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move myself over here underneath the quadratic. So now I'm on step number 3. Step number 3 is I take my quadratic formula and I plug things in. And what the quadratic formula does for me is it basically is like a factoring tool. When I have situations where I can't factor an equation by hand, and actually I don't even ask you to factor in mathematical modeling, um, because it is rather difficult, and I couldn't imagine teaching it online and not being there to help students practice. Okay, so we plug in what we know. I have a negative sign right here. This is very tricky. So I have a negative, and now they want b, and b is negative 7. Plus or minus the square root of b squared, so that's going to be negative 7 quantity squared minus 4 times a times c. All of that right there over 2 times a. We simplify. I'm just going to simplify. When I simplify, out here in front, 2 negatives give me a positive. I have plus or minus there. The square root. Negative 7 squared should give you positive 49. Minus, let's see, 4 times 2 is 8. Times negative 1 is a negative 8. All of that over 4. Let me go ahead and just erase that real quickly so it's not too confusing. So we're kind of chugging along here, kind of getting to the spot. We're going to keep on simplifying. So I get x equals 7 plus or minus. Inside here, I want you to remember that, and I'm just going to go over here for some scratch area. Okay, so 49 minus a negative 8. Subtracting a negative is actually the same thing as adding a positive. So when I add that together, I believe I get 57. So now I have the square root of 57 all over 4. So I just got done with that's the solution right there, and I went back and looked at your solution that you gave me, and it appears to me that what somewhere along the line, let me write out what my final answer according to the computer, according to what the system wants you to write. Oops, sorry about that. Ah, bummer. That'll be 7 plus the square root of 57 over 4. And then I would put 7 minus the square root of 57 over 4. Those would be my two answers I would submit. Um, let's take a look at what you put. If you look right here, you have 7 plus. You got that part right. Do you notice how you have the 4 inside of your square root? The 4 is not inside your square root. So it's very important that when you put that in there, that you keep that 4 out of the situation there. And it's the matter of just putting it into the computer correctly. However, you also have negative 41. So I'm going to go back. Somewhere along the line right here, and I'm trying to look to see, I see what it is. You have 49. Oh, you must have taken negative 49 right here. So a negative 7 times a negative 7 is always a positive 49. And then remember at that point, you also, I think you got the plus 8, but this is positive, so you have 49 plus 8 gives you 57. So that was your mistake right there. So right inside the parentheses right here is where your mistake was made, and it was made probably with that right there. When you put this into the computer, and I don't have it up and running, I'll hit pause and see if I can show you how to put one in. Give me just 1 second. All right, so when you put your answer in, let's see, is it going to let me do this? There we go. Let me see. My box doesn't come far enough. Sorry, but here, I'll type it in so you can see. So I type 11, and then I would type in plus. Then I would hit my fraction button, so I get a fraction. And I'm over on the left, and I apologize, I didn't put my recording over far enough. Then at that point, I would hit the square root button. And in this particular problem that I'm doing right now, the answer is 89. Then I would put over. Oh, nope, I did it wrong. It's all of it's a fraction. Then I do the 11 plus the square root of 89. I go to the denominator and I type in my denominator, in this case, which is 4. Then I arrow over, I press comma, I hit the fraction key again, and I say 11. This is for my particular question, okay? Wait, is it going to be 11? No, I'm sorry, my B is 9 in this problem. Okay, so now I got 9. I was still doing half of your other problem. And then I got minus, whoa, what's going on? Minus, hit the square root button, 89, I go to the bottom, and I go to the bottom, and I say 4. So when I check my answer, okay, so that's what it was, is that the method at which you were putting it into the computer was getting it wrong, plus you're making an error with your symbols. I hope this video helps. Apologize I didn't see your mistake right away. Okay.